based on 1 Kings chapter 17. And before I read it, I guess I just want to ask you all to, for a moment with me, as you're listening to it, listen for all the humor, listen for the irony, listen for how amazing and awesome our God is. He provides. We read. Now Elijah, the Tishbite from Tishbe and Gilead, said to Ahab, King Ahab at the time, as the Lord Yahweh, as the Lord, the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah. Leave here, turn eastward and hide in the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food. So he did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. This is the word of the Lord. To be honest with you, I don't like dark days. And I'm guessing the same can be said for all of you as well. No, I'm not talking about the dark, cold days of winter, which are rough as it is. No, I'm talking about those dark days where our jobs are challenged. It's those days where we step back and we realize that, wow, I just haven't been taking care of my health for the past 4 months. It's those days when we realize that all the stability that we once had 6 months ago, well, they're not here now. We don't like dark days. It's those days when things are tough. But what we like those days when the sun is shining, when things are great. It's easier for us then, isn't it? Today, God moves our hearts to confess a truth about those dark days that we don't always like to admit. And here it is. During those dark days, our trust in God seems to waver. It's easier for us to trust in God when our jobs are great, when the sun is shining, when life is good, when marriages are happy, when relationships are blossoming. It's easy to trust in God then, but what about when that's not the case? Well, it's for those days that are tough, for those days that are joyful, for the days that we go through year after year, week after week. It's for all those days today that God comes to us with this word from 1 Kings, and he says, I want you to remember this story about Elijah. And I want you to see that as Christians, you trust in me to provide. As Christians, we trust in God to provide because, one, he's in control, and two, because he's faithful. One, he's in control. Our God is so good and so awesome. Look at what he does to King Ahab here today. He shuts off the water from the sky. I mean, amazing, right? Here's the scene. We're in 1 Kings, and King Ahab right now will be sitting on his throne in the palace, most likely, and all of a sudden, in walks in this guy named Elijah. We don't know much about Elijah. We didn't get to see Elijah like a baby, like we saw Moses, right? We didn't get to see Elijah as a teenager like we saw Samuel. No, this is literally the first time that we get to see the prophet Elijah in biblical history today. How awesome is that? And all we know about him is that his name literally means Yahweh is my God. When you say his name, you say only God, Elijah, you are saying Yahweh is my God. And you know he walks in the palace, most likely, with the word of God.
Also picks it up as
surely as Yahweh, the God of Israel lives, there will neither be rain nor dew for the next few years.
So it's not like it can't be filled.
Yahweh shuts off the water in the sky. But why?
Can't look into
Why does he do it?
the computer settings to see it.
Well, to bring Ahab and the Israelites back to himself and away from worshiping Baal. You see, what King Ahab had done at this time is he instituted this new and national religion across the land called Baalism.
Yeah.
And true worship of God had been engaged.
In OBS.
Ahab wanted to get control of what he couldn't naturally control on his own. So what does he do? He has everyone worshiping Baal. Why? Well, because Baal was the rain god. You see, the logic is that every time you saw it rain, every time it rained, you were given this confidence, this control that apparently said something like this to yourself: well, Baal answered my prayers. It rained, and so, wow, I have cattle eating, I have crops growing. My life has been pretty great. Thank you, Baal, for all the blessings. And in doing so, they ran away from Yahweh, they ran away from God.
Right.
But it only made sense, right?
Yeah.
It made sense that if you wanted a sense of control and stability in your life, that you would worship Baal. And before our minds immediately jump to every reason why that sounds ridiculous and how the Israelites were so irresponsible in their faith and irresponsible Christians, I think maybe it's important for us to take a step back this morning and recognize that the same thing happens among us. In fact, I think we can probably make the argument that Baal worship is at its peak in our society today. Because what is Baal? Baal is anything and everything that you choose to put your trust in, your confidence in, will make it rain in your life. Baal could be a million different things. Baal could be a paycheck.
But I guess there's no easy way to do
It could be a career that makes you feel secure and in control of your life, a career that makes you feel like everything is green and lush, a career that reminds you that the blessings are just pouring down from the sky.
So for the
They
audio,
actually
it's
do
fine.
many
So
different things. It could be beauty. It could be a college degree.
it almost be like a
It can be
podcast.
so many different things.
It's
And
not.
here's the reason why we gravitate towards it.
So it's not.
It's because
Yeah,
it gives us a sense
there.
of control. It helps us see that when life gets dark and when those challenges that come into my life that I could never imagine just start barging in, well, I don't want confusion. I don't want depression. No, I want joy. I want control. So I find it in.
Thanks for calling.
We find God that we've fashioned in our own image. A little mini me, actually, if you think about it. A little mini me that's in my back pocket that will tell me exactly what I want to hear. And so when life is tough, and all of a sudden everything comes crashing down, but my mini me in my back pocket says, hey, the last time this happened, you know what you did? You were on top of your career. So here's what you got to do again. You got to sacrifice everything for your career. Sacrifice it all for your picture career above everything, your family, everything, and then guess what? All the joys will come back. You will be on top of it all. You will be in control. You will have stability in your life. Sacrifice it all for your career. Of course, my mini-me is going to say that. I told him to. I made him. I fashioned him in my own image. We did that. He's a God that really has zero control. But Yahweh's got control. Yahweh certainly has control, and he has control over life and over death. And here's what he says. Here's his stance on the veils that we try to create in our life. He says, you shall have no other gods. And this is what he says the punishment is for that. He says it's eternal. That's what we deserve. Eternal death for our unfaithfulness. And no amount of beauty, no amount of paychecks, no amount of my career or college degree has the control to change that. But Yahweh does. Yes, he does. Yahweh, the God of Israel, he has the power, the control to change that. And he does. And here's how he does it. Step one, first of all, maybe he might. He might just send a drought. He might just shut off the water in our lives. Why? Well, to lead us, to run us back to him. To get us to confess to him our unfaithfulness. And then step two, well, he's got control, and here's what he does. He sends us life. And he sends us life in the gift of his Son. Yahweh, the God of the heavens and the earth, he says, I love you. I love you so much that you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send my Son to live in your place perfectly and to die for you. That's how much I love you. I love you so much that my Son is going to experience every single challenge you go through. He's going to persevere through it all for you. I love you so much that I couldn't imagine a life lived without you in heaven, where I have a home made for you. And so, here you go. Here's my Son for you. My same Son who will stand at the gates of heaven after your last meal, and he will look at you and he will say, you are my child. That's my child. They've been my child since the day they were baptized, and they will be my child forever. Our God is in control of it all. And we can trust in him with the Father. We can trust in him and his control when we feel sad. Because you know what he says in those moments? He says, you cast it all on me. You cast it all on me because I care for you. You just spit it all out. Word vomit everything to me and tell me how you feel. Tell me what your troubles are, and I will listen to it all. Because I love you and I care for you. You know what he says when we feel lost? He says, I've got purpose for you. He says, come back to me, my child, because I've got your identity. It's right here. You are a blood-bought child of my Son. He says, you know all those gifts and abilities that you have? I gave those to you. Now go out there and use them. And glorify me as you do so. And then finally, you know what he says when we're feeling fit for Christ? In the dark days are just way down, he says, you lean on me. Don't lean on your understanding. No, don't do that. Lean on me. Because I am your rock, and I do not change like shifting sand. A Christian trusts God to provide Because he's in control. And because he's faithful. You remember those ravens earlier? You remember them? You probably already know this about ravens, but I'm going to say it anyways. Ravens are stoic. Ravens are terrifying, actually. Just the other day I was driving our neighborhood, and there was a raven just in the middle of the street, mowing down on some meat, and there was nothing going through his head. Like, it did not look like he was going to share. No, not to mention it wasn't going to move either. Ravens are scavengers. That's what they are. Naturally, they don't share their food, they don't share their meat. And yet, look how God uses them. He says to Elijah, you go to the Kir, this place where literally there's nothing. You're just going to be in the desert. In fact, this ravine that you're going to be at is going to be cut off at some point in time. That you're going to drink from the brook there. And then at the same time to Elijah, I'm going to send ravens to bring meat and bread to you, day and night. I'm going to provide for you daily needs. That is our God doing his best work. That is our God being faithful, isn't it? He says what he's going to do, and he carries it out. Yes, we will be going through dark days. Yes, they have to be food. Yes, we live in a world that isn't as cute and cuddly, kind and sharing as we might think it is. And yet God says he's going to provide for us. And he's faithful about that. He takes the birds of the air to provide for Elijah's food. He reminds us that if he can care for the birds of the air, then can he not also care for us? We, his people who he loves. He provides for us daily, and he faithfully does so. He says, I'm going to give you your bread. I'm going to give you daily food. I'm going to protect and guard you. I'm going to give you the gifts and abilities that you need to provide for yourself in this life. And then he takes the next step further and he says, I'm also going to guard you from all harm and danger. And he does so. He protects our spiritual lives. He does not allow the devil to take complete control. No, he crushes the devil with his son. With his resurrection and his glory. That's what our God is. He is faithful. He's in control. We can trust him to provide. My favorite part about this entire section of the scene right here is that Elijah walks in and his name is Yahweh is my God. And what does he say to the king who's sitting on the throne? The king who says, well, Baal is my God. Yahweh is my God walks in and he says, no. I'm going to show you who God is. I'm going to show you who the God of Israel is. He's the God who can shut off the rain sky and bring it back 3.5 years later. That's who our God is. Trust him. Through the help of the Holy Spirit, you trusted him, and I'm going to trust him as well. Stay firm on his promises. Listen to his word. He is in control, and he is faithful. Please stand as we use the words of Luke's explanation of the first article